Hello, good evening.
Hi, guys.
Hello, how's everybody?
Good.
Very good. Thank you.
Good.
Oh, bothers Ernie.
Get comfortable.
Good evening, everybody.
Ernie.
Tomorrow we will learn Daf Yomi at 7 o'clock, and then the Tsurba will be at 8:15. That's the schedule for tomorrow. We are on Mem 40 tonight. Amar Rabba Rav Nachman, Machav Bifnei Shnayim Ve'ein Tzarach Lomar Ksuv. We're talking about a case where somebody is squatting on somebody's land, and the owner of the land is protesting. And it's a case where he's not protesting in front of the guy himself, but he's protesting in front of Adim. He does not have to write, he doesn't have to instruct them, ksuvu, write. They themselves can write the edus, or document, where they say, such and such person protested in front of me personally. It's assumed that it's as if he told them to do it. They can write it. Similarly, there's something in halacha called modah. Modah is like this. There's a mafia guy who, unbeknownst to anybody, is forcing you to sell your house. He's threatening you. And there's going to be a document that's written up, either a gift document, you're going to give him the house, or a sale document. And he's afraid. He can't write anything in that document. So what he does is he makes an announcement to two Adim. It's a modah. Modah is he's giving them upfront knowledge. I'm being forced to do this. They will document in a document that such and such person testified in front of me that he's being forced to do this sale. Then a regular star is written, but later on he can back out on it because he testified in front of these two Adim that he's being forced to do it. That's called a modah. So he has to do it b'fnei shnayim. This testimony that he's being forced has to be in front of two people. And similarly, ein tzarach lomar ksuvu. It's understood that these two are going to write it down. They're going to have a document signed by them, which testifies to the fact that he gave a modah prior to whatever transaction is going to occur. Now, hodah is an admission, right? Hodah is kemea edim dam. If a person admits to owing $1,000 to Chaim Yankel, it's better than if there were 108 present when Chaim Yankel gave you $1,000. You admit that you're chai of that money. That hodah has to be done b'fnei shnayim. However, here tzarich loymar ksuvu. Here, it's not understood by definition that they're allowed to write it. He has to tell them, write it. If he didn't command them that they write it, then they shouldn't do it. Because it's putting him into an obligation of money. He may not be happy with something written. Now, kinyan. Now, here, we're talking about a kinyan sudar. A kinyan sudar is like a fictional kinyan. Like when you go to your rabbi before Pesach to sell the chametz, and then he asks you to pick up a pen, he gives you a handkerchief, you give it back to him. It's an act, a kinyan act designed to complete a transaction. That also has to be done b'fnei shnayim. Ve'ein tzarich loymar ksuvu. This kinyan act, they can document it without being told to write it. Kiyum shtaros. When you have a star, it has to be certified, where the witnesses have to come in to say, yes, we recognize the signature of these edim. That's called kiyum shtaros. Has to be done b'shloisha. It has to be done in front of 3 people. And you have to write on it b'shlosha, that the kiyum was done in front of 3. Simin, mecha, moida, hoida, kinyan. Hamarava. Ikashali, these halachas that were just stated by Rav Nachman, if I have a problem with it, hakashali. This is high kinyan hechidam. What kind of kinyan are we talking about here? If this kinyan is going to be considered like a document that came out of Bezdin, then liboy tlasit should require 3 people. There's no Bezdin less than 3. If it's not considered like a Bezdin document, why should it be that they don't have to say, that the guy doesn't say to the Eidim, write it? It should not be, he should have to tell them. It's like a hodah. It's like an admission. And there also, we said by admission, the Eidim are not permitted to write it unless he tells them to do it. Basra the boy, after Rava asked himself that question, Hadar Pashta, he himself responded, this kinyan and documenting it, it's not like a Maisa Bestin. So why is it that they don't have to they don't have to be told to write it, that they can write it on their own? Time of a kinyan, he wants, by doing a kinyan at the end of a transaction, he wants to give it a chizuk. So therefore, there's, he wants it written. That will also be mechazek the act. Rabbi Rav Yosef Damar Tarvayu, lo kasvinan moda, ella aman shlotzayis dina. So we said a mafia guy is threatening a person and he has to sell his house. He's forcing the guy to give him a gift of his house through threats. So prior to giving the shtar matana, he goes to 2 Eidim and he says, I'm being forced to do this. And they write it down. Now, this writing down this modah is only if this person, this mafia person, is not somebody that's going to respond to a call to go to Besdin. Because otherwise, why wouldn't you tell the person who's afraid and is giving this testimony, why is he going along with this thing of giving the thing away? Take him to Besdin. Well, we must be talking about a guy that's not going to listen to Besdin. However, Abaye v'Rava, so Rabbi Rav Yosef says that you only write a modah in that case. However, Abaye v'Rava damar tav afilu alay v'alayich. What do you mean? Even if it's you and me, Abaye and Rava, we would write a modah. Because sometimes you need to go to Besdin. Anyways, because there's no way of sort of resolving the issue. Armin Ardoi. Kol modah de lo ksivba. What has to be written in this modah? Ananya dinen be ba'onsa de planya. The Eidim have to say, we know that Chaim Yankel is being forced. They're threatening his children or whatever. And that's why he agreed to this transaction, which he really doesn't want. So if that language, Ananya Adin and Bebu Unsa de Planya, if it's not in there, Lav Moidai, then it doesn't rise to the level of a halachak modah. Now, modah demai. what kind of things are being written modas for? Ida Gita. For example, he's being forced to give a get. He doesn't really want, so he gives a modah in front of somebody that is being forced to do it. Or the matanta, which is a gift. He's being forced to give a gift. Well, glui milsav almahu. That's just informing. Remember, a gift and a get has to be done with the ratzon of the giftee. Either the giver of the gift can't be done against his will. So once he informs that he's being forced, he doesn't have to go into detail what the oinus was. Because you don't give a get or a matana unless he wants it.
Yeah, but listen, but the fact that he's being forced doesn't nullify the get or whatever document it is.
You broke up. You broke up, Johnny.
What?
You broke up. I didn't hear what you said.
I'm saying the fact that it's written that he was forced, that should nullify the document.
They don't write. No. They're going to be writing a regular star matana that looks like it's a regular gift. Because if it's a mafia guy, he's going to kill the guy. So you understand, they have to write a regular plain vanilla star. It's just in advance. He's telling Tuadim, and the mafia guy's not there. He says to the Tuadim, I'm being forced. And they write another document that says on this and this date, this guy showed up and told us he's being forced to do whatever transaction eventually is going to happen.
Okay, so that will nullify. So that will nullify the transaction, won't it?
Yeah. So the Gemara is trying to define, what are we talking about? If it's a get or a gift document, because we just said, Anan Yadinan Be Be'unsa the plat. We know all the details of the oinus. The Gemara says, what case are we talking about? If it's a get and a matana, we don't need the details. Once it's put into writing through testimony that he's being forced,
there's no get.
A get and a matana has to have his rotzon.
Yes.
Other things don't have to have his rotzon, but a get and a matana has to. Now, idis vini, if it's a sale document, he didn't hold that you can do this for his vini. So now we're back to the question: on what case are we writing moidan? For get and matana, to use the language on ayadim beibun, we don't need it. So when is it relevant? Is the Gemara's question. And Rava said you don't do it for a sale document. So the Gemara answers, La'olam desvini. We are talking about a sale document. Moide Rava hechid honest. Even Rava will admit that if he's being forced to sell it, you should write a moidah. Otherwise, he's going to lose his money. Ulchamaisa the partesa. It's like the case of an orchard. What's that? Tahu gavra. The mashkin partesa l'chavre l'tlashan. A person gave a piece of land as a collateral for a loan. And the guy who took the land ate from the fruits, which is a way to pay off the loan. However, the guy who took the collateral, who took the piece of land as collateral, he now ate 3 years in a row from the fruits. Omar, now this guy who's on the land is going to threaten. He goes to the guy who gave him the collateral. If you sell it to me, mutav, I won't do anything. The ilo, if you don't agree to sell it to me, because remember, the guy who gave the piece of collateral is going to get that land back. Let's say it's $500 loan. And the guy was eating $100 worth of fruit per year. After 5 years, the guy's loan is paid off. The guy who gave the collateral is going to get the land back. But the guy who's sitting on the land now has the upper hand and can threaten the following. listen, I've eaten 3 years. You haven't protested. Why should you protest? You gave it to me as collateral. And now if you agree to sell it to me, fine. The ilo, and if you don't agree to sell it to me, I will hide, because they had a star, which documents the terms of this. This is a piece of land that's been given as a mashkanta, and you'll subtract the fruits that are eaten, and if it adds up to the amount of the loan, then the loan is paid off, you get the land back. He's going to hide that. And he'll say, you know what, I bought this from you. And I've eaten 3 years chazak, it's mine. So he's being forced. This is an example of oinus. He doesn't really want to sell it. So what does the guy do? He goes to 2 Eidim, and he tells the whole story in front of the Eidim. The Eidim documented. He goes ahead and they sell it. He sells it, and then later on can go to Bezdin and get his money back and get the land back with the documents of the Eidim. Amar Rav Yehuda. New terminology. Hai matanta tmirta lo magminan ba. This is a hidden gift. So we don't collect it. That the Gemara doesn't understand what that means. Heichi dami matanta tamirta. Amar Rav Yosef Amar Lulasadi. Somebody wants to give a gift. He says to Eidim, Zilu atmuri v'kosvule. Go and hide. Don't write this publicly. Write as a gift document, I'm giving this gift to such and such person. But do it clandestinely. Ikidiyami Amar Rav Yosef, that what is a hidden gift? Shelo amar lahu titvu b'shuka u'braisa v'tichtuvulei. He didn't say to them, go to the market openly, write the star. So it's 2 versions of what a matanta tmirta is. My binayu. What's the practical difference between these 2 lashonos? Iki binayu stama. He didn't say anything. He didn't tell them to hide, and he didn't tell them to do it publicly. Amarava, this kind of gift, which is given secretly, what it can do is, let's say he had previously given this piece of land to Ruvain. This new document at least battles that gift. Amrav Papa, Hadirava, this statement of Rav Lapafer Shitmar, he didn't say it clearly, but we sort of darshaned it. Where? A woman went to be Makadesh Anisha. Amrale, the woman said to him, if you write a document that you give me all your assets, I'll agree to marry you. If you don't agree, I'm not going to accept being your wife. He wrote all of his assets to this woman. Now, also break Shisha, his oldest son, now has nothing to inherit. So he says to his father, what was going to be with me? If you give all of your assets to this woman, there's nothing going to be left for me. So he got to Eidim. He told them, Zilu itmuri, go hide, the Over Yamina, in such and such place. The Kosfu lay and write for my son a star matona for all my assets. Also, Rava. Amalu lo markana. The son really does not acquire it. V'lo markana, and the woman doesn't acquire it either. Man dechaza savar. Whoever saw Rava Paskin here thought that the reason why the woman wasn't koine, mishum da'avya, because there was this hidden gift given to the son, which we said is a modal chavrasa, which goes to eradicate a previous matana, i.e., by writing a second gift document to his son, he was coming to abolish the original gift that he did to the woman. But Velohi, it's not correct. The person who saw Rava do it, the person who saw it didn't arrive at the correct conclusion. Hasa mucha milsa, shemachmas onso shekasavlo. It's clear from the facts of the case that he was forced to do it. Nobody's going to give all his money away. Aval hacha, but when you give a regular gift beseiti, and another time you do it openly, maybe mar nichale delikni, mar lo nichale delikni. Maybe he wanted this guy to get the gift. That's why he gave it openly. And the other guy was not happy. He gave it as a small gift. And therefore, it doesn't work to abolish automatically the gift given to the other guy. Okay. Okay, we'll stop here. Again,
Well.
reminder tomorrow, 7 o'clock, Daf Yomi. And